Midnight. A temple guard was making his rounds at Shirdi. Everything was silent, still. And then, he saw a light. Near the Samadhi Mandir, a glowing light. Greenish, whitish, floating in the air, slowly dancing. The guard froze. His heart started pounding. "Who's there?" he shouted. No answer. The light didn't move. He stepped closer and saw something else. A figure, wrapped in a white shroud, bearded, standing still. The guard screamed and ran. The next morning, he told the priests what he saw. "I saw a ghost. It was Sai Baba." The priests smiled. "You're not the first," they said. "Every year, dozens of people see the same thing. This is Shirdi, a small town in Maharashtra, India. And here stands the famous Shirdi Sai Baba Temple, visited by more than 20 million people every year, not just to pray, but to witness miracles. Because this temple isn't ordinary. Things happen here that science still can't explain. Trees defy logic, fires that never die, ghostly visions, and miracles that continue to this day. It's 2025, the age of science. We think we can explain everything. But in Shirdi, 7 mysteries remain unsolved. Scientists are puzzled, skeptics are silent, and millions still believe. Welcome to the 7 unsolved mysteries of Shirdi Temple. When you enter the Shirdi Temple, the first thing you'll see is a tree, a neem tree. Old, tall, ancient, hundreds of years old. Neem trees are common across India, found almost everywhere. And they all share one trait. Their leaves are extremely bitter. So bitter that they're used in herbal medicine and as a natural insect repellent. But the neem tree in Shirdi is different, because its leaves aren't bitter. They're sweet. Yes, sweet. Unbelievable but true. Visitors pluck its leaves, taste them, and are shocked. How is this possible? Neem leaves are supposed to be bitter. But these are sweet. Priests collect the leaves and distribute them to devotees as prasad, a sacred offering. People take them home, treasuring them as holy relics. But what does science say? Botanists studied the tree. They ran chemical tests, examined the molecular composition of the leaves. The result? It's definitely a neem tree. The DNA is identical to every other neem tree. Yet the leaves taste sweet. How is that possible? Science has no answer. Neem leaves contain a compound called azadirachtin, the source of their bitterness. Every neem tree has it. And tests show that the Shirdi tree has it too. Still, the leaves are sweet. One botanist said, "It makes no sense. Chemically, these leaves should taste bitter, but they don't. I can't explain it." Local legend tells a different story. When Sai Baba first arrived in Shirdi in 1858, he meditated beneath this very tree. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. He hardly moved. Villagers brought him food, but he never ate, only meditated. Then one day Sai Baba touched the tree. He placed his hand on it and prayed, "Let this tree be sacred. Let it heal those who seek peace." And from that moment, the leaves turned sweet. Is it just a legend? Or something beyond science? The fact remains, there are hundreds of neem trees in Shirdi. All of them normal. All of them bitter. Except this one. Only this one. Why? No one knows. People believe these leaves carry Sai Baba's blessing. They give them to the sick. "Eat this," they say. "Receive Sai Baba's grace." And countless stories follow. "My pain vanished. My fever broke. My illness disappeared." Placebo effect? Maybe. But science still can't explain why this tree's leaves are sweet. When you enter the Shirdi Temple, the first thing you'll see is a tree, a neem tree. Old, tall, ancient, hundreds of years old. Neem trees are common across India, found almost everywhere. And they all share one trait. Their leaves are extremely bitter. So bitter that they're used in herbal medicine and as a natural insect repellent. But the neem tree in Shirdi is different, because its leaves aren't bitter. They're sweet. Yes, sweet. Unbelievable but true. Visitors pluck its leaves, taste them, and are shocked. How is this possible? Neem leaves are supposed to be bitter. But these are sweet. Priests collect the leaves and distribute them to devotees as prasad, a sacred offering. People take them home, treasuring them as holy relics. But what does science say? Botanists studied the tree. They ran chemical tests, examined the molecular composition of the leaves. The result? It's definitely a neem tree. The DNA is identical to every other neem tree. Yet the leaves taste sweet. How is that possible? Science has no answer. Neem leaves contain a compound called azadirachtin, the source of their bitterness. Every neem tree has it. And tests show that the Shirdi tree has it too. Still, the leaves are sweet. One botanist said, "It makes no sense. Chemically, these leaves should taste bitter, but they don't. I can't explain it." Local legend tells a different story. When Sai Baba first arrived in Shirdi in 1858, he meditated beneath this very tree. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. He hardly moved. Villagers brought him food, but he never ate, only meditated. Then one day, Sai Baba touched the tree. He placed his hand on it and prayed, "Let this tree be sacred. Let it heal those who seek peace." And from that moment, the leaves turned sweet. Is it just a legend? Or something beyond science? The fact remains, there are hundreds of neem trees in Shirdi. All of them normal. All of them bitter. Except this one. Only this one. Why? No one knows. People believe these leaves carry Sai Baba's blessing. They give them to the sick. "Eat this," they say. "Receive Sai Baba's grace." And countless stories follow. "My pain vanished. My fever broke. My illness disappeared." Placebo effect? Maybe. But science still can't explain why this tree's leaves are sweet. Now let's go to another place inside the temple, Dwarka, an old mosque. This is where Sai Baba lived. He slept here, cooked here, spoke with people here. And inside this mosque, there is something special, the Duni, the sacred fire. Sai Baba lit this fire in the late 1800s. He threw in wood, coal, anything that could burn. And the fire burned, every day, every night. Sai Baba himself fed it with wood each morning and checked it every evening. The fire never went out. In 1918, Sai Baba passed away. But the fire did not die. His disciples said, "Baba is gone, but the Duni must remain," and they kept it alive. Today, in 2025, more than 100 years have passed, and the fire is still burning. Every single day, every single night. It has never gone out. You might say, that's normal. Someone keeps adding wood, true. But here's the strange part. It has never gone out. Not once. Not during storms. Not during the heavy monsoon rains. Shirdi often faces violent storms and strong winds. Water floods the courtyard. Yet the Duni keeps burning. In the 1940s, a powerful storm hit Shirdi. The roof of Dwarka was damaged, and rainwater poured inside. Everything was soaked, yet the fire continued to burn. How? No one knows. A physicist once said, "For fire to burn, you need 3 things: fuel, oxygen, and heat. If water enters, the heat drops. The fire dies." But here, it doesn't. I can't explain it. The ash that comes from this fire, called udi, is collected daily by the priests. They distribute it to devotees, who take it home and apply it to the sick. And miracles are claimed to follow. My cancer disappeared. My paralyzed father walked again. My wife, who couldn't conceive, became pregnant. No scientific proof exists, but belief does. Yet the real mystery remains. Why has this fire never gone out? Over 100 years, 36,500 days. Not a single interruption. Not during storms, power outages, or neglect. Always burning. Skeptics say, someone must always be there, watching it. But the priests insist, no. Sometimes we forget. Sometimes we come late. Yet the fire is still burning. By itself, science cannot explain it. Fire obeys the laws of physics. When the fuel ends, it dies. When water hits, it dies. When oxygen is cut off, it dies. But this one doesn't. People believe Sai Baba's spirit lives within the Dooni. They say, the Dooni is Sai Baba's heart. Baba may have left, but his heart still beats. Is it real? A legend? No one knows, but the fire burns on for more than a century. And that is a fact. Being inside the Shirdi Temple at midnight is a completely different experience. During the day, it's crowded, loud, and chaotic. But at night, everything changes. The temple closes. The devotees leave. Only a few priests and guards remain. And that's when strange things begin to happen. Lights appear, bright greenish-white lights, near the Samadhi Mandir and in front of Dwarkamayi. They move, shimmer in the air, and vanish within seconds. One guard shared his story. In 2015, I was on night patrol. It was around 2 a.m. As I approached the Samadhi Mandir, I saw a light inside. But the doors were locked. No one could be there. I stepped closer and saw a figure. A man in white robes sitting in meditation. My heart stopped. I screamed and ran. When I came back the next morning, the place was empty. Another priest said, I was praying alone one night. Suddenly I smelled incense. Strong, sweet, unmistakable. But I hadn't lit any. I looked around. No one was there. The scent stayed for minutes, then vanished. Sounds are also reported. Chanting, bells ringing, footsteps echoing through empty halls. A woman said, I stayed overnight near Chavadi. I couldn't sleep. Then I heard singing, a divine voice chanting softly. It was so peaceful. I opened the door. No one was there. But the voice continued, until suddenly it stopped. Paranormal investigators have visited the temple. They brought cameras, sensors, recorders, and waited through the night. They captured unexplained sounds, electromagnetic spikes, sudden temperature drops. But nothing conclusive, they said. Something strange is happening here. But we can't explain what skeptics argue. It's all imagination, exhaustion, faith, suggestion. The brain plays tricks. But there are dozens of witnesses, priests, guards, pilgrims, all describing the same events. Can they all be lying? The most chilling story came from 2019. A group of tourists visited the temple and took photos at night. When they reviewed them, they noticed something in one picture, a white figure standing near the Samadhi Mandir. But no one had been there at that moment. They zoomed in. The figure looked like a bearded man, resembling Sai Baba himself. Was it Photoshop? A fake? Experts analyzed the photo. No manipulation detected, they said. It's a genuine image, but we can't explain what it shows. Many believe Sai Baba's spirit still resides in the temple. Baba died, they say. But did he ever leave? Number. He's still here, watching us, protecting us. Is it real? What does science say? Science says, we can't explain it. And sometimes that's the most unsettling answer of all. Sai Baba didn't just perform miracles, he also predicted the future. Throughout his life, he made many prophecies. But he spoke in strange ways, through metaphors, symbols, and riddles. People often couldn't understand what he meant until the events actually happened. His most famous prophecy was about his own death. It was September 1918. Sai Baba said to his disciples, "Soon I will leave this body." On the day of Vijayadashami, his followers were shocked. "No, Baba, please don't leave us," they begged. But Sai Baba simply smiled and said, "Everything has an end. Bodies die, but the soul remains." At the end of September, Sai Baba fell ill, high fever, refused to eat, and his condition worsened. And on October 15th, 1918, he passed away. On the exact day of Vijayadashami, just as he had foretold. People couldn't believe it. How did he know? They asked. The date is exact. How is that possible? But that was only one of his prophecies. There were many more. One of his students was gravely ill. The doctors had given up hope. The student came to Sai Baba and asked, "Baba, am I going to die?" Sai Baba looked at him and said, "Do not fear. When the moon is full, you will be healed." A strange answer. What did "when the moon is full" even mean? 2 weeks later, on the night of the full moon, the student's fever suddenly dropped. By morning, he was fully recovered. A miracle. and Sai Baba's words came true. Another story tells of a businessman who came to Baba. "Baba, I'm starting a new business. Will it succeed?" Sai Baba smiled and said, "You will plant a tree, but you will not eat its fruit." The man didn't understand, but he went ahead with his plan. He worked hard, built his business, but a few years later he fell ill and died. His son inherited the business, expanded it, and made it flourish. Then he realized Sai Baba had been right. His father had planted the tree, and he was the one who ate the fruit. Sai Baba also spoke of great global events, wars, famines, and disasters, but always in cryptic words: "Dark clouds are coming. It will rain not water, but blood. The fire will burn the fields." At the time, people didn't understand. But years later, when World War I broke out, when the Spanish flu spread, when the famine of 1918 struck, they realized. Sai Baba had foreseen it all. Even today, researchers study Sai Baba's sayings, trying to decode them. Maybe there are more prophecies, they say. Maybe he spoke about our future too, but the question remains, how did he know? How can a person foresee their own death? How can someone see the future? Science says it's impossible. The future is uncertain, governed by chaos, by probability, by chance. But Sai Baba did it, not once, but many times, and his prophecies came true. Now let's talk about another mystery: money. The Shirdi Sai Baba Temple is one of the wealthiest temples in India. Every year, millions of rupees flow in, donations of gold, silver, and cash. People are incredibly generous. But here's what's strange: the temple also spends a massive amount. Every single day, it serves free meals to thousands of people. It funds free healthcare, education scholarships, and charity programs for the poor. The math seems simple. A lot of money comes in, a lot goes out. The balance should be close to zero, right? But no. The temple's wealth never decreases. In fact, it keeps growing. Economists have studied the accounts and said, "This makes no sense. You spend so much. The funds should run out. How is this possible?" Temple administrators simply smile and say, "It's Sai Baba's blessing." Skeptics argue, "There's no miracle here. You just have good accounting, investments, interest income." But the financial records are open to the public, and the balance sheets are odd. Mathematically, the temple should be losing money. But it's not. One accountant shared his experience. In 2018, I reviewed the temple's finances. The annual expenses were higher than the income. On paper, it should have been a deficit. But in reality, there was still plenty of cash. I can't explain it. The irony is powerful. When Sai Baba was alive, he was a poor man. He lived by begging. He owned nothing. Whatever he received, he immediately gave away. If a beggar gave him 10 rupees, he would pass it on to another beggar. He never kept anything. He practiced a ritual called dakshina, asking for donations only to give them away. One day, a rich man came and said, "Baba, I will give you 1,000 rupees." That was a huge amount at the time. Sai Baba accepted it, and that very same day gave away all 1,000 rupees to the poor. He kept nothing. People asked him, "Baba, why don't you save anything? What will you eat tomorrow?" Sai Baba smiled and said, "Allah will provide. Don't think of tomorrow. Live today." That philosophy continues even now. The temple gives away whatever it receives, yet the wealth never runs out. An economist once said, "Maybe there's a principle we don't understand. Maybe generosity multiplies money. But scientifically, it doesn't make sense believers call it Sai Baba's financial miracle. They say, Baba is gone, but his blessing remains. If you donate to Sai Baba's temple, your money returns multiplied. Is it true? People test it. They donate, and many claim their lives change afterward. Their businesses grow, their finances improve. Is it placebo, self-fulfilling prophecy, or a real miracle? No one knows. But one fact remains. For more than 100 years, the money of Shirdi Sai Baba's temple has never run out, and that, mathematically, is a mystery. These mysteries didn't stay in the past. They're still happening today, in 2025. Every day people come to Shirdi and claim to witness miracles. Some are small, A lost item is found, a headache disappears. Some are huge, cancer cured, jobs found, children born after years of waiting. We live in the age of the internet. People share everything online, on forums, social media, and YouTube. There are thousands of personal stories. A woman wrote, "In 2023, I was diagnosed with cancer. Doctors said the chances were low. I went to Shirdi, prayed, took Udi. I used it every day. In 2024, during my checkup, the cancer was gone. The doctors couldn't believe it." A man wrote, "I was unemployed for 2 years. No hope left. I went to Shirdi and prayed to Sai Baba. A month later, I got a job offer. A miracle," a couple shared. "For 10 years, we couldn't have children. We tried everything. Then we went to Shirdi and prayed. A year later, my wife was pregnant. Now we have a son. We named him Sai. Are these fake? Exaggerated? Maybe some. But all of them? Thousands of testimonies? That's hard to dismiss. Science says, coincidence? Placebo? Psychological comfort. But some stories are too specific, too detailed to ignore. A doctor once said, "My patient had terminal cancer. Only months to live. He went to Shirdi and came back full of faith and joy. Continued treatment. 6 months later, the cancer was in remission. I can't explain it. Medically, it's impossible. And the real mystery, why only in Shirdi? India has millions of temples, yet the miracle stories are concentrated here. Why? No one knows. But one truth remains. People believe, and belief is a powerful thing.